It's mid-September, we're talking about Gewurztraminer, and when we talk about Gewurztraminer mid-September, we're talking about ice wine. We're about to pick our grapes in a couple of nights that we're going to make into our ice wine dessert Gewurztraminer. Some of you have had it before. I do it every 2 or 3 years, and I do these tiny productions, like 40, 50 case lots, tiny lots. We're gonna pick these grapes and we're gonna put them into a freezer. We're gonna freeze them solid for 20 days. When I pull these little grapes out, they're gonna be like little glass clusters, something that my parents used to have in the 70s on the coffee table. Put these directly into the press. We're into ice wine, baby. I don't know anybody who is willing to go out there in the middle of the night, pick these grapes cold, not frozen, and rush them to a commercial freezer, freeze them solid for at least 20 days, not 19, and definitely not 19 days, or 18, or 17, but 20 days. After those 20 days, we're gonna pull out and we make ice wine. I'm gonna be showing you how we make our ice wine. I'm gonna be pulling back the curtain and showing you how we make such a special dessert wine that has wonderful flavors and fresh aromas without being overly syrupy sweet and not having that pancake syrup mouthfeel that a lot of dessert wines can have, particularly if they're late harvested white varietals. Making it in the ice wine style is something very, very special. When you see me next, we're gonna be in the cloak of darkness, and hopefully I'm gonna find my little headlight. Classic Russian River Valley mist. It's cold out here. All right, it's in the middle of the night, and you might be wondering, why are we out here in the middle of the night? And you might be thinking it's because we can wear these cool headlamps. That's a solid argument. Actually, that's just a bonus. The real reason why we're out here in the middle of the night with headlamps and this dew, it's about 44, 45 degrees right now. It's not frozen or freezing, but it's cold here in the Russian River Valley. It's because we're picking ice wine. Look at these clusters, you guys. Now, these are obviously not frozen, but these are perfect clusters, perfect candidates for ice wine. So right now, we're about a solid 40% through harvest, and it's starting to wear on us already. These guys, the way we harvest, we're harvesting every 3 days. Most small wineries our size are going to go out and have maybe 4 or 5 really, really long days. But the way we do our harvesting, we're going to go out there and we'll pick tiny bits of fruit every 2 or 3 days, such that when I finally make these blends, I'm picking, even though it's from one Gewurztraminer vineyard or one Zinfandel vineyard, I'm picking it over a course of 2 or 3 weeks. And what you're gonna be able to do is make these internal blending lots. So the type of small lot winemaking that we do here is extremely labor intensive, and only being about 30 to 40% through harvest right now, I can already feel my body starting to tell me I'm tired. I know these guys probably wouldn't admit it, but these guys are tired too. Of course, I'm gonna make sure, hopefully I get through at least 70% before I get sick. Almost 40 years old, every single year it's like clockwork. I hardly ever get sick, but about towards the end, my body will recognize, okay, it's now okay to get sick, and then I get sicker than a dog. Vaya a la casa, yo voy a mirar eso, pero chance a la otra bloque de la laguna, chance esperamos una semana, medio semana, porque vamos a recibir más buena temperatura próxima semana, medio 80s. We're gonna wait. We're gonna pick the second block of Gewurztraminer next week. Looking at what we've got right here, it's perfect for the first round, but we have a lot more fruit than anticipated. So for those who like the ice wine, you're gonna be happy here this year. That's the sound of ice wine. These are frozen grapes. We just pulled them out of the commercial freezer this morning, and we are now in the process of taking these frozen clusters. In the 70s, our parents had these frozen glass clusters sitting on their coffee table, and that's the feeling, that's the texture of these guys right now. They're really hard. It's so sweet though. So the concept with ice wine is, well, real ice wine freezes out there on the vine, and when the temperatures are right, we run out there and pick it in the first snow. Here in California, we don't have those, unfortunately, we don't have those freezing temperatures. So the next best thing is find somebody who will meet you at 5 o'clock in the morning to receive these grapes with a forklift in a big ass freezer. And we found them. So we make ice wine now. These clusters are frozen solid. These clusters are going to be put directly into our press, where we're going to press them off. And as you press off frozen clusters, pure sugar thaws first. So sugar is dripping out of our press right now, while water in its purest form stays frozen longer than sugar. So it's a way of separating water from sugar. And when you're making ice wine, who needs the water? All we care about is the la pura nectar, man. We care about the pure sugar. And that's what we're capturing right now in tiny, tiny droplets. It's a pain in the rear end to make, and this is a game of patience.